Hello everyone, we are going to start with another session of Advanced Performance Management. I'm your facilitator Zaira Anis, and we are going to cover the second question of activity-based management, right? This is another question which require a lot of application of activity-based costing and activity-based management system. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we have in this question. Let's start from this question. Again, if you want to read this question at your own, you may pause this video and read it, try to understand it, and then you can continue with this video, right? All right. So Dibble is formed. Dibble is formed of two autonomous division, timber and steel, and manufacture components for use in the construction industry. The company has always absorbed. Now there is two autonomous divisions, right? The first one is timber, and the second one is steel, which is used in the construction industry. The company always absorb production overheads on cost of each product on the basis of machine hours. Machine hours is basically a traditional system of absorption costing, which we have already studied in F2 and F5. Now, this is basically what company is doing right now. Now, timber division, the first division, right? Timber division manufacture timber frames used to support the roofs of new houses. The timber, which is purchased pre-cut to correct length, is assembled into finished frame by factory worker who fasten the components together. Right? This is basically the introduction of the product. The division manufactures six standard sized of frame. Six standard size of frame. Now, try to think, what do you mean by standard size of frame? I mean, what are the qualities? You may pause this video and think over it, and then we can start. All right. So standard size of frame, standard product, or standard product means that you are continuously manufacturing same kind of product, same methodology, same components, same worker probably. So it's more it's something which is actually you are quite capable of, or you have expertise in it, right? Which is sufficient for use in mostly newly built houses, right? So this is basically the first product, which is the standard product. Now, what about the second division, which is a steel division? Steel division manufactures steel frames and roof support for use in small commercial buildings such as shops and restaurants. There's a large range of product, right? There's a large range of products, and many customer also specify bespoke designs. Now, bespoke design means what? This means that the company is not preparing a standard product. Company is not having a standard design. Whatever customer wants, whatever customer requirement is, we usually try to provide that requirement. All right. So also specify bespoke design for short production runs of or one-off building projects. Okay. Steel is cut and drilled using the division's own programmable computer-aided manufacturing machinery and is bottled together welded by hand. The company's strategy is to produce novel bespoke products at a price comparable to the simpler and more conventional products offered by its competitor, right? So we are here to provide novel bespoke products at a price comparable to the simpler and more conventional product offered by its competitors, right? Now, try to think what's the problem. You may pause this video. All right. The problem is that the company is manufacturing a unique product, a bespoke product, but the prices which it is charging is comparable to simpler and more conventional product offered by its competitor, right? So what we are charging similar price which is compatible to the product which is offered by the competitor, despite of the fact that our product has a unique property in the sense that customer is actually uh, asking us to prepare the product. So we are providing whatever product we are providing, that is according to the requirement of customer, right? And whenever you ask any company to provide some bespoke or some desired product or customized product, customer always have to pay some extra price for that. But this is something which apparently seems that company is not charging, right? So it's not something which usually as a management accounting we should accept that. I mean, let's see what the next part is saying. For example, many of the steel division's customers choose to have steel covered. For example, many of steel division customers choose to have steel covered in one of the wide variety of colored paints and other protective coatings at the end of production process, right? This is performed off-site by a subcontractor. This is basically a kind of example of what kind of extra services they want. This is performed by off-site by a subcontractor, after which the product is returned to steel division for dispatch to the customer, right? Customers are charged to the subcontractor cost plus a 10% markup of choosing this option. So what we are charging from the customer, we are charging the cost, subcontractor cost, that whatever the cost we are bearing for this extra service, and along with that we are also charging a 10% markup of choosing that particular option. So we are actually charging profit from the customer. The board of steel division has admitted that this pricing structure may be too simplistic and that it is unsure of the overall profitability of sales of some groups of the product or sector of the market, right? Now, recent several customers have complained that incorrectly applied paints has flagged off the steel after only a few months of use, right? More seriously, a fast food restaurant has commenced litigation with Dibble after it had to choose close for a week while steel roof frames supplied by Steel Division were repainted. Following this, the production manager has proposed increasing the number of staff inspecting the quality of the coating on the frames and purchasing expensive imaging machinery to make inspection more efficient. Now, you may pause this video and you may try to think that is this a right strategy used by the management, that customer is actually asking you about, customer is actually complaining to you, and at the as a response what you did, you you propose to increase the number of staff inspection, you try to increase the number of inspection, right, for checking the quality of the coating frames, and you started purchasing expensive imaging machinery to make inspections more efficient. Probably it's more towards I mean, when we have studied TQM somewhere, it says that there is a prevention cost and there is an appraisal cost. It's better to spend on prevention rather than appraisal. So companies actually spending on appraisal rather than prevention. Companies spending more on inspection. I mean, it's a good idea if one company should spend some money on protecting the issue, fixing the issue, right? Let's see what else do we have. The chief executive officer at Dibble has approached you as a performance management expert for your advice, right? At a conference recently, he told you, I watched a presentation by CEO at a similar business of to our talking about the advantages and disadvantages of activity-based costing and how over several years the adoption of ABM had helped them to improve both strategic and operational performance, right? Try to recall what we studied at operational and strategic performance. All right. Now, I don't want you to do any detailed calculations at this stage, but I would like to know more about activity-based costing and activity-based management and know whether they would be useful for the company, right? So what they don't want any detailed calculation, but they want to know about what how activity based costing and activity based management can be useful, can be helpful for this division, for their company, right? You are provided with the following extract of the most recent management accountant for Timble and Steel divisions, right? Revenue is given here, material cost is given, labor cost is given, subcontractor cost is given, right? So these are probably the direct cost, right? And these are the overheads, production overheads, setup time, machining time, storage of goods awaiting or return from subcontractors, transfer of goods to and from subcontractor, inspection and testing, and total production overhead. So gross profit is around 9035 and 4533, right? Now what's next? Now, you are required to advise the CEO how activity based costing could be implemented. So, there are just a few steps how you can implement identification of cost pool, identification of cost driver, calculation of overhead recovery rate, and then absorption of overhead and cost of the product. So, it's a very basic requirement. You just need to, take the name of this company and just try to apply these things so that you can answer this question. So it's not a technical question, right? This part is a bit technical part. Assess whether it may be more appropriate to use activity based costing in timber and steel divisions than costing basis on currently used system, right? So actually the company, the CEO wants you to justify your answer if you think that activity based costing should be used, and to justify your answer if you are in favor of you continuing with the current machining system, right? So this is basically what CEO wants from you, and that is for 8 marks, right? So you have to justify if you are in favor of activity based costing, and you have to justify if you are in favor of current costing system, right? So let's see what can we do. Try to recall what we have discussed in the first lecture, where we said that there are 3 or 4 areas which company should check whenever company wants to decide whether company should implement activity based costing system or not. There were 3 prerequisites mainly. The first prerequisites was there should be multiple product, right? There should be multiple products. The second was their product nature should be different. Nature should be different, right? What was the third part? Third was overheads shall, sorry, major overheads should not be related to a single cost pool. And the one more point was there where it says that uh, if overheads should be not exactly major, but overhead should be a proper proportion of total cost. Proper in the sense, if it's 10% over, there is 90% direct cost and just 10% overhead, so managing overhead will not benefit you, right? If your overheads are 60% of the total direct cost, then definitely it's going to create an impact, right? So let's we have if you want to justify that whether company should use ABC or not, we have to check these 4 points, right? Whether company, if these points are applicable in the situation or not, right? So let's consider first consider the timber division, right? Now, the first area was that company should be manufacturing multiple product, right? So company is manufacturing six different standard size of frame, 6 different frames of individual of different sizes. So company is manufacturing multiple products, right? Company is manufacturing multiple products. The second one is nature should be different. If nature of overheads are different, nature of products are different. These are standard size of frame. Standard size of frame means that probably products are similar to each other, or each product is very similar products are of similar nature. um it's if it's a standard product, if these product may be like each other, for example, if same kind of activity is performed. So that's something which is not much in favor of activity based costing, right? And the third one is that major overhead should not be related to a single cost pool, and overhead should be a proper proportion of the total cost, right? So let's check this part. Let's see if this is applicable or not. Let me try to open calculator if I can do. Yes. All right. So timber division means in timber division the total cost is this is the total cost, right? Let me try to add it. 12,000 plus 4,500 plus 75. It's 16575 plus 120 plus 50 plus 35 plus 205. That makes 16985. The total cost is 16985. Right? And what is the proportion of overhead? 120 plus 50 plus 35 plus 205. Oops, total overheads are given. I think I made a mistake. Total overheads are 205. Sorry. Plus 12,000 plus 4,500 plus 75. It's 16780. This is the total cost, and overheads are 205. So 205 divided by 16780 times 100. Overheads are 1.22%. Overheads are 1.22% of the total cost. So this means what? Despite of having multiple products, despite of having probably a different nature of the product, because every product is of different size, but the total overheads are just 1.22%. Overheads are just 1.22% of the total cost. So that means what? If you apply if you apply activity based costing on in timber division, that means you have to be a lot of cost, because definitely activity based costing means there are a lot of costs involved in that. I mean, implementation cost, motivating employees to to apply ABC, and to make an information system to capture the data and information, and everything. So probably it will not be beneficial thing for company, because the direct cost is very huge, and the overheads are just 1.22%. So that means what? Company will be managing 1.2% of the total cost by managing the overheads, right? So overheads are not a significant proportion of the total cost. Along with that, there are just three major cost pools, right? There are three major cost pools. So this is not, but this factor is enough to to you know uh, d- to continue to favor the fact that company should use current absorption costing system, because it's a more simple system, right? Situation is not complicated here. Product nature is not very complicated. Products are not very different from each other. So it's more favorable for the company to use current absorption costing. So why timber division should use current absorption costing system? Because first condition has been met, right? Timber division, first condition has been met. Second condition is partially met, not 100%, because company is manufacturing different products, but there are not lot of different products which all our products are different, right? The most important thing in which on the basis of which we can reject this claim is this one, right? So you have to justify why you think that current absorption costing system may not be relevant in this situation for timber division, right? Now let's move towards steel division. Let's see what we have in a steel division. See, steel division in a steel division, uh, what is the situation? The company is manufacturing bespoke design, right? Now bespoke design means what? Every requirement of, I mean, every customer is giving you different requirement. Some customer will ask to provide a quality product, so there will be more inspection in that. Few customer will ask about certain product which company manufacture in large bulk sizes, right? The few customer may ask company to provide them with a very low quantity. So in all these situations, if requirements of customer are quite different, then it is something which actually this is a kind of condition which is actually in favor of using activity based costing, right? So for steel division, multiple product is there, right? Nature of products are very different. And now let's consider major overhead should not be related to a single cost pool, and overhead should not be a proper proportion of the total cost, right? Now let's see. Uh, the total overheads, we can calculate total cost. Total cost is see, profit is 4533, so we can deduct revenue and we can take the difference between revenue and profit in order to get total cost. That's also a method. 20605 minus 4533. So the total cost is 16072. 16072, right? And total overheads are 4472 divided by 16072. It's around 27.8%. 27.8%, right? Total overheads are 27.8% of the total cost, right? Now let's see if major overheads are related to a single cost pool or not. Let's see. 2777 divided by 16072. Sorry. 2777 divided by 4533. It's 61%, right? So 61% overheads are actually related to a single cost pool. That means if company use activity based costing, then 39% overheads will be distributed in a different manner, right? So that means what? That means all four conditions have been met for steel division. So steel division should use activity based costing. Now why we haven't checked this third requirement in timber? Because see, total overheads are just 1.22%, right? Total overheads are 1.22%. That means the major category, the major, I mean, more important requirement has not been met. So it's of little use to consider this 120 part. Although if you want to add that part, you may, but since the overheads are just 1.22% of the total overheads, that means in considering this situation, it will be not beneficial for the company to apply ABC, because ABC contain lot of different costs that it itself include other some different costs. I mean, implementation costs, staff motivation, data, and everything. So it's not an easy task to apply ABC. So according to our analysis, steel division should use activity based costing, and steel division should use, and timber division should not use, mainly because of this reason, and also because some partially because of this reason. Now you now let's move to part B. Advise the CEO. You just need to write these things in your own wordings, right? Obviously we cannot do that. Point B. Advise the CEO how activity based management could be used to improve business performance in Dibble, right? Now you have to advise the company how how activity based management, not costing, activity based management could be used to improve business performance in Dibble, right? Business performance. The question is asking about the performance, right? So how do you think ABM can help the company, right? What we have studied in previous part, this is actually related. I just wanted to show you guys a marking scheme. So we will do it later. All right. I'm just trying to get a space, right? So what we discussed that activity-based management system has two areas. The first area is strategic level, is application and strategic level, and then operational level. At strategic level, there are two areas. The first one is product related, and the second one is customer related. And operational level pay, it's value added activity, right? So we need to identify which activity is activity related. We need to identify which activity is value added activity, activity is non value added activity, which product are profitable product, which product are not profitable product, which customer is profitable customer, which product is not profitable customer. And if a customer is not profitable, we need to identify, or if a product is not profitable product, we need to identify whether we should continue with that product or whether we should continue with that customer or not, right? So this is basically what we have already done in activity based management slides, right? Now let's see uh, if there's any specific thing related to this question. Now the question asks you to guide the company, sorry, to improve both the strategic and operational performance, right? So at operational level, we are concerned with activity levels, and for strategic level, we are more concerned about the product and customers, right? So it's not really, it will not be, we will not apply this situation, or we will not do this part with respect to timber, because we are not suggesting timber to use activity based costing, right? So we will apply the third part to steel division. Why? Because we are suggesting is that steel division should use activity based costing. So since we are advising steel division to use activity based costing, that division should use, we have to tell that the management that how that division can have benefit if that division uses activity based management, right? So there are two things actually. You may pause this video for a while and try to think how you can apply, how a company can apply, right? All right. Now, see, there is, at a strategic level, we have to identify any product or any customer which is not a value added customer, right? So there's a question in this question. It says that there's a product. For example, it says that subcontractor that the customers are charged to the subcontractor cost plus 10% markup of choosing that option. So what the company is actually doing, company is taking the cost of subcontractor and just adding 10% markup, and they are charging customer at 110% of the total cost. That means what? That means if the subcontractor cost is 50, the company will charge $5 of profit, and company will charge $55 from that customer. This is basically what the company is doing, right? But the important thing to consider here is that subcontractor cost is 650 for steel division, right? And this means what? This means that company will charge 650 times 1.1. Company will charge 715 from this customer, right? Company will charge 715. The cost of subcontractor is 650. So apparently it seems that the product is making profit, right? The product or the service is actually generating profit. But try to think whether it is actually generating profit or not. We have to think like this, right? So if you see this, if we use traditional activity based costing, if we are using traditional activity based costing, so we will not have any idea about the composition of the overheads, right? We don't have any idea what are the total overheads, what is the cost pool and everything. So what we know is that total overheads are 1 million Total machine hours are probably 200,000, and overhead absorption rate is 5 pounds per machine hour, right? But if company is using activity based management, then company can identify that analysis of overheads what analysis of overheads is actually telling us. It's telling us that storage, these two costs are actually related to the subcontractor, right? Storage, let me magnify this. Storage, sorry, storage of goods awaiting or return from subcontractors, right? And transfer of goods to and from subcontractor, right? So these are two costs which are actually related to subcontractor. Now what the problem is that this is not a direct cost, this is a hidden cost in the overheads, right? So if we are using activity based costing, we now know, I mean, initially we didn't know, but now we know that there is 395 and 300, approximately 695 is the another cost which is actually related to subcontractor, right? So if you see, 300 plus 395, that makes 695, right? 695 is the another cost which is actually directly related to the subcontractor. So if we add this cost to this part, 695, right? Then what is the profit? Deduct this figure, you will get the profit, right? In fact, loss 715 minus 650, sorry, 715 minus 650 minus 695. You will get a loss of 630. See, this cost is giving us, this product or this service is giving us lot of loss. I mean, huge amount of loss. And where we went wrong, see, remember what the question said that the company will charge comparable prices which are quite connecting with the conventional products offered by competitors. So just because of that reason, we were thinking, what was the thinking was that since the cost is just 650, before switching to ABC, since we were thinking that the cost is just 650, so we were happy by adding 110%, and we were thinking that this product is a profitable product, which is actually not the case, right? Now we know that this product is actually making losses, so we have to do two things: either increase the selling price because we are providing bespoke software, bespoke product to the customer, so customer should pay us some extra amount of money in return of that. Or what we can do is that we can try to reduce the 695 because this cost is actually hurting us. We cannot, I mean, we have to work on this total one to some cost, 1 to 1200 something cost. We have to work in this cost in order to reduce this. But I mean, we need to reduce this cost by $630. $630,000 is a huge amount. We have to do that. Otherwise, this product is not a profitable product. So, see, what is the benefit of using ABM on performance? We can improve the performance. Performance means what? Profits, right? So we can improve the profit. Now we know that that there is a product which we are very happy. We were providing that product very happily, but now we know that this product is not a profitable product. This service is not a profitable service, right? And how we came to know this? Because of activity based costing, because of activity based management, right? So this is the first part where we said that we have to apply at a strategic level, right? So you just need to write it at your own. I mean, obviously, I cannot help you to write the answer. You have to write it at your own. If you are at P5 level, you must be good in writing, right? What is the second part? Second part is we need to identify operational performance. Operational performance is what? Operational performance is actually connected with value added and non value added activity. So we have to identify which activity is value added and which activity is non value added activity, right? You may pause this video and try to think that out of these five cost pools, which activity is a cost value added activity and which activity is not. Now, see, we in notes, I have identified three areas. The first activity, there is a kind of basic activity or the primary activity which is actually adding value to the product. I mean, packing, refining, mixing, boiling, whatever you are doing. There is another activity which is not a direct activity, which is not directly adding cost, adding value to the product, but which is important for the production itself. If you don't do that activity, you will not be able to you will not be able to manufacture the product, right? And there is another activity which actually we call non-value added activity, where where I mean that is a kind of activity which is uh, completely not relevant for customer. I mean, which is completely a cost which customer is not paying you a single penny, right? So these are three types of the activity: first major, second minor, non-value added, and the third one is the middle activity, right? Now, machining time. Try to think. Let's start from machining time because that is a major cost, right? Do you think machining time is a major cost? Is a value added activity? Yes, it is. Because machining time means you are actually manufacturing the product. So obviously, if you reduce that, if in case company wants to reduce machining time, definitely product quality may get compromised, right? We need to identify if it's something we can do with that, but probably it's a value added activity. It's a value added activity. So we cannot eliminate this activity. All right. We can try to reduce, but we cannot eliminate this. Then setup time for CAM machinery. This is not a value added activity, but this is an activity which is actually required for the manufacturing of the product. So probably we cannot eliminate this as well. We can try to reduce this time, right? We can try to reduce. We can try to, if we can try to reduce this time, but this is not, we cannot eliminate this, right? So we can try to reduce this time, but we cannot eliminate this. Now, inspection and testing, 425,000. Inspection and testing cost is around, if you check, 425 425 divided by 4472, that makes 9%, 9.5, approximately 9.5% of the total overheads. This is not a value added activity because if you produce your product correctly at first, if you produce your product right and in the first step, in the first procedure, then definitely you can reduce, you can eliminate this cost. So this is not something which customer is actually paying. Now, people may argue that since these are bespoke software, bespoke products, so company needs more investigation, right? But there can be two views in that. You may write in two different views. First view is that company can try to check if company can try to standardize these products, these bespoke product. Company can try to use some standardized product if that is not impairing the quality of the product, right? Because some may argue that, look, if you use a standardized product, then customer may not be satisfied with that. But we try to think over it, if we can use some standard products, standard components. So if we use some standard components, then the issue can be minimized, right? Similarly, what the company did here, company for this, there was some problem. So the production manager has proposed increasing the number of staff is inspecting the quality coating of the frame and purchase of expensive imaging machinery to make inspection more efficient. So despite of correcting the activity, despite of improving the activity, the quality of the product, the production process at the first time, company is actually investing more money here. So this cost company should try to, this is not a value added activity. Company should try to eliminate this cost. Company should try to minimize this cost as much as they can, right? Now, so this is a non-value added activity. This is a value added activity. This is not a value added activity, but we may consider this to be an important activity for the business, right? Now, these two costs. Sorry. These two costs: storage of goods, storage of awaiting or return from subcontractor 395, and transfer of goods to and from subcontractor, that is 300, right? So if we can reduce this transportation cost in any way, I mean, if company, what company can do is company can try to reduce this cost by two things. I mean, company can try to, find someone who is closer to the organization, who is closer to the factory, so that this distance can be minimized. Company can try to, identify whether this activity can be performed internally, because this is a permanent thing. This is not a temporary activity, this is a permanent activity. So we can try to check if this activity can be done in our place, because if we can do the same activity, then transfer of goods to and from subcontractor, this cost can be minimized. I mean, both of these costs are non-value added activities, so this cost can be minimized if we can do the same job, or this cost can be reduced if I mean, this cost can be eliminated if we will do this job, and this cost will be minimized if we try to locate somewhere which is nearer to the factory, so that we can reduce this transfer of to and I mean, transfer cost. One more thing we can do is, we can directly send our product from subcontractor to the customer, if we want to do that. Storage cost is very high. Storage cost is very high. So this is also a non value added activity. This is also a non value added activity. So we have to try to minimize this storage of goods awaiting or return from subcontractor cost. So storage cost is very, 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 company can try to reduce this by improving its value chain, improving its chain analysis, that how many goods are, how many, what should be the minimum storage, what is the minimum storage requirement, or maybe what how many units it actually needs to keep in the store department, or how many, I mean, how quickly it can deliver it to the customer. So we need to channel this down, we need to reduce this cost by reducing the cycle time, or the cycle time of the activity, right? So these two can be seen as non value added activity, and this should be minimized, right? This should be eliminated in the first step, or minimized, and this is completely a non-value added activity. So these three activities can be treated as a non-value added activity, or something which company should reduce, and the first two can be continued, right? Now, so we discussed two areas, strategic and operational. One more thing which you can discuss is company can, if company is manufacturing a company may try to consider its repricing the product, because if we are reducing our cost, we cannot reduce our cost much, right? I mean, if this is the activity, and if we are unable to reduce cost to 630,000, then we can try to reduce cost as much as we can without compromising the quality. You guys may write some redesigning or restructuring thing here, or we can increase the selling price, so that we can, reduce this gap, we can try to reduce this gap, right? So repricing can be done here, in order to reduce this cost. And one more thing company can do, if the overall product is very complicated, so we can try to think to redesign or restructure the product in such a manner. I mean, if customer come up with a product, then we should try to minimize its overall design of the product, so that low cost, it will contain low cost. Because see, the more complicated cost means more complicated product means you have to incur more cost, labor has to work hard, labor has to understand the requirement. So if you are trying to keep your products design simple and more kind of standard, not exactly standard, but more which is closer to the standard, then labor will be more comfortable in that case, and the inspection cost can be reduced in that manner. So designing can be reduced. Bespoke, instead of using bespoke parts, we can use some standard parts as well. One more thing which actually examiner asked was how it can improve the business performance in Dibble. See, performance actually means what? The one more thing we need to identify. If you want to write here, if you want to write, you may write that performance measurement. I mean, what we consider, we consider the pricing of the product. I just need some space. We consider the pricing part of the product. We consider the strategic ABM at a strategic level, where we consider that there was a product which is loss making product, and we can identify in the same way we can identify some loss making customers if the data is available. At operational level, we try to identify some activities which are non-value added activities, and we need to minimize or reduce, eliminate those activities. We can we can redesign the product. We can not redesign, we can try to keep design simple in order to reduce this cost, this bespoke cost. We can try to have some standard product, or we can this can help. ABM can also help the division in order to improve the performance part of the company. Performance measurement is also important. So if you want to analyze performance of the employees, that part can be improved. How? Because you see, we try if you want to cut down your cost, you have to eliminate some activities which are non-value added, right? So you have to think outside the box, that how these activities can be eliminated. I mean, see, this is the scenario, right? So you have to check which how we can try to reduce these three costs, right? You have to identify some innovative idea. You have to think like that. So you are more responsible towards the reduction, towards the product improvement. So performance system can, employee performance can be based on the identification or improvement in the products, in the business, in the customers. Something which we can actually see the improvement, and we can see that how innovative, how productive our employees are. Because if the production manager is working in a very similar manner every year, then definitely that means he's not motivating towards improvement. He's just doing a routine job, a regular job. But if he is motivated towards the product improvement, towards reduction, towards design improvement, towards activities improvement, then definitely that will help keep him motivated. And for that, activity based management definitely can help the organization, right? So these are some things which we can write in this 13 marks requirement, right? Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.